Hello again, folks, and this one's for Blanka. So we all love Blanka, so hopefully all of these changes as well that were requested. Now don't forget, these aren't necessarily one request from everyone or from one person. This is a multitude of requests from different sources, so hopefully it's a pick and choose type scenario from here. But firstly, the first thing I changed is the charge time. Now someone wanted the charge time on all moves that Blanka does to be down to 42 frames, which most of them were 55 frames apart from his Ultra 2. That was 42 already, but now they're all 42, so I can't really test this, but it seems like it would make a big deal because they don't have to charge so much, so they can get moves out quicker. They might be able to react to anti-airs a bit faster and stuff like that, so it could be a bigger deal than it actually looks like. I know Gen has both his moves at 60 frames, and they're not as good as some of these moves. His Ogre and his Ogre and his, I don't know, rolling move, whatever that's called, I forget. But that's 60 frames, so I don't think this one is absolutely necessary in my opinion. But I'm not a Blanka player, so what do I know? Now the second thing I changed, which are going to be his normal type things now, is his fast standing medium punch is now a 2-hitting move, similar to Adon's standing heavy kick. Now it comes out faster than Adon's standing heavy kick naturally. I've reduced the recovery by 1 frame, but it seems to be about this sort of range where the farness comes out, and you can actually link it into itself, but the distance gets pushed back, so you can't link it anymore after that. And you can get into sweep, although it's you have to be right on the limit of the far reaching medium punch for that to work. Now it could be quite useful, it could be too powerful. Let me show off some of the ways this could be useful. So focus attacks, this is great against focus attacks. Now as you can see, he can dash away a couple of times, and Ryu, for example, he seems to pull back when he does a focus attack, so I still get hit a couple of times, but it's really easy to beat focus attack. Now Blanka, this would really only help him when he's moving, his poking game, because if he's got charge, he's able to break focus attack anyway with his balls. But yeah, so it's a little strong in that respect as well. And also, people who rely on armor things like maybe Balrog, certain times this is going to make it exceedingly difficult for Balrog to get in. Yeah, you can just pretty much press a fast standing medium punch whenever you do it on reaction, pretty much, or even not on reaction. It looks like it's a very strong normal. So I think maybe that might be a bit too much. It might have to be slowed down if you want it to be 2 hits. So the next move they wanted me to change is close standing medium kick. Now this is his 2-hit-in attack, which goes through Goken's parry, might I just add. But the main things are the damage is now 75 from 80. It is airborne from frames 2 to 18, so it opens a little bit of mix up with grab baiting, but it comes out very fast, so it's not really that big of a deal. I've reduced the recovery from 12 to 10, so hopefully it opens up new combo opportunities, and it can also be done at a further distance. You're less likely to get the fast standing medium kick. So as I said, it kind of throws in a throw bait mix up. As you can see, his throw's missing because he's airborne, but the move comes out mega fast that it doesn't really make much of a difference. Okay, so the next things I've done are light normals. There's quite a lot of changes for light normals, so I'm going to list them all first, and then you can kind of see where it kind of improves in a second in footage. So the first one is close standing light punch, -3 recovery on that. Close standing light kick is -3 recovery frames also, but also airborne on frames 3 to 14, because the animation looks like he's airborne, that's why that's done. Fast standing light kick, -1 startup, -2 recovery, and extended hitbox, because that did look like a really rubbish type move. And also crouching light punch, -1 startup, -1 recovery, and crouching light kick, -1 startup. Now the thing about a lot of these changes are they're his main normals. You know, standing light punch, crouching light punch, those types of things, light kick, standing light kick, etc. They're all integral to most people's gameplay. So the problem is that when you change one of these, it could have far-reaching repercussions that it can mean a lot of stuff. You can get into new combos and stuff. I'm showing off the different types of moves here. You can see that's the pretty bad move there. But obviously I can go into combos very easily. I'm able to do the light kick, light punches, combo into each other very easily now. Some of them are going to be 3-frame normals now, which is maybe a bit too much, I'm not sure. But I can go into big combos there, which is nice. I can do that, and I'm rubbish at him, so it also gives the opportunity to maybe trade with some 3-frame normals, which might put him in a lot of pressure, which he might have to do a risky move to get out of, like a Blanka ball, which is very risky indeed, especially in the corner like this. So you have to be very careful about changing these light normals. So I think these definitely take a bit more testing before you can say that's a good change, because it's very risky. Now the next thing I'd change is crouching medium kick. This has had its damage upped from 70 to 90, and its hitbox largened horizontally, so it'll reach a little bit easier. It can still go into a heavy punch Blanka ball, but hopefully it'll just allow you to get into this move a little bit easier. The damage has been increased for whatever reason, because it needs more damage, I guess. Okay, the next move is crouching heavy punch. They wanted the startup reduced by 1, the active frames increased by 1, and the recovery reduced by 5. So a lot of frame data stuff here. Now as you can see, hopefully you can see it becoming a little bit faster in the previous footage. Now it still doesn't seem to be good at anti-airing, so I really don't think it's a good anti-air at all. Apart from completely maxed screen, which is the stupidest anti-air I've ever seen, it's not really going to be that useful. Now it may be useful in footsies because it's a very far hitting move, and now it comes out quite fast and recovers quite quickly, so it's not actually massively punishable anymore. But you can mix this up with standing medium punch if that move came in as well, because that's a 2-hitting move, which is very good for footsies now. That's very susceptible to focus dashing, but standing medium punch isn't. So mix them up together and hopefully you get a good sort of variety of controlling space in front of you. Okay, so finally we're on to Ultra 1. Don't forget the startup has been decreased, to 42 frames from 55. And there's a couple of bug fixes they wanted me to fix. So the first one is increase the hitbox on the rest of the hits so they don't fall out like they used to on that sort of setup. So that was fine. I increased the hitboxes of the 2 hits onwards, so you get full damage if you did a cross-up thing like that. And I can't do that. And the next thing that I did is sometimes you'll get a bug where the second hit will hit, like so, and then you'll slide off involuntarily. Now the reason this happens is because the Ultra 1 is split into 3 stages. The first one is the 0 damage and the hit when you come down. The second one is the hit when you're on the floor, and the third one is when you've released and all the subsequent hits. Okay? Now, the second stage is programmed to only come out on release when you've hit the opponent or when they've blocked the hit. So if it touches them, which is what it's doing, then it's programmed that you've hit them, so it comes out. So the way I fix that is to make it so it won't come out at all unless you release it. Okay? Now this does throw up a little bit more of an issue, as you saw, where the second hits weren't hitting. And the reason that is because the second stage is only active to hit twice. You have to release it for all the other hits to come out. So it is still possible like this. You have to release it so it doesn't come out automatically now. But the way you do it is to release it, and then the hitbox will grow and you'll get all the subsequent hits, okay? Now I could have made it so it auto-corrected, but that wasn't asked of me, just to fix that bug, so that's what I did. So you let go, the hitbox increases. Speaking of autocorrect, the super was something they did want auto-corrected. Okay, so if you anti-air them with the super, for whatever reason, if it lands on the other side of them like so, you can turn and it will auto-correct like so. So that's a nice little thing. And they also wanted the super to connect after a lightning. Now forgive the way I get into the combo, I'm absolutely terrible at pianoing, but it seems to connect. I just added some dual potential to it is all I did. So now we're into Ultra 2 territory, and all they wanted changing for Ultra 2 was put into a down-forward motion. Now whether this is good or bad, this means you can punish anti-airs easily, and you can punish fireballs very easily. You don't need to have charge. So, too powerful? Possibly. It means you can hop around and do stuff, and still do your Ultra. Okay, so the next thing is Coward Crouch. They wanted you to be able to get into your special moves a little bit faster, so I've made that faster. You can go into any special move you want, which is, you know, your up balls, horizontal balls, or any other balls you got, and your lightning and everything else. Now, there is one big change on the Coward Crouch that they did want, and that is you can stay into it indefinitely. So I've made it so it stayed in indefinitely, and the way you get out of it is by pressing a kick button, okay? Now there's a reason for that, because the punch button would sort of trigger because you're pressing it to hold it down. So you press a kick button to get out, and you can press any direction, anything you want while you're in the Coward Crouch. So you can even start a new charge, different charge, and you can still press up kick to get an up ball when you're in the Coward Crouch. If the kick won't get you out of it, the up ball will overwrite. So you can do any special move you want. You can even do your super from your Coward Crouch. Eventually I can do your super from the Coward Crouch. but you can't do your ultras. That's not possible. It wasn't before and it's not now. No ultra 2, no ultra 1, no anything. Okay, so any special moves, you stay in it indefinitely, kick to get out, and you can do your super. It's a nice little change. I don't know whether that's too good or what. Requires testing, I think. The next thing is your hop skills. Now, it's not invulnerable to projectiles, it never was, but I've given it 3 frames of projectile invincibility. So hopefully when you come out of the coward crouch, you get a little bit of projectile invincibility. It means you can go forward a little bit faster, but mostly it's not really going to affect that much. And it is able to cancel into its ultras, although there's no real point unless you want to chip damage them with Ultra 1, because Ultra 2 is really punishable, especially if you do like that. Also, they will have a chance to block. Okay, the next change is for your horizontal balls, which are, normally when you're very close, it will knock them down if you hit them, which is good, because then there's no chance of retaliation. So I've made it so it knocks them down at a further range for all the horizontal balls. They knock down for a little bit further, not completely. I think maybe they should be knocked down completely, because it's a technical knockdown, so they can get up really easily. And some characters can actually punish a hit Blanka ball, which is crazy. But made it so they get knocked down a little closer. Okay, so you can do some combos and still knock them down, which is nice. And all versions actually knock them down, because that's something that I think only the heavy punch and EX actually did. But now the light punch and medium punch also knock the opponent down, but only from a certain range. As you can see, 2 or 3 light punches there. 3 light punches was too far, it's not knocking them down, but 2 light punches and it is still knocking them down. I think it should be extended so it always knocks them down, because it's just safer in my opinion. There's not much you can do after a Blanka ball anyway if you hit them, so I think it should knock them down. So as I've said, Seth and Dalsim, after a hit Blanka ball, they can still punish you, so I definitely think it should knock people down all the time, because Blanka's got enough trouble with getting hit on a blocked Blanka ball, but on a hit one, no, surely not. You should be able to, you know, feel safe have you got a Blanka ball on them, rather than feel like you're going to get punished for it. So I think that should always knock you down, not just at close range. And the last change is the up balls that Blanka can do. Now there's some drastic changes here that I don't agree with at all. The first one is light kick up ball. It lifts the opponent into the air no matter what. They always just fly up in the air. He seems to fly massively high though. The medium kick hasn't been changed, and the heavy kick has a bigger hitbox, so it's better as an anti-air in that respect. Okay, now the light kick version is the drastic difference. It's invincible until the hitbox comes out. Now the problem with that is the hitbox comes out when it connects. So if you do it right next to the opponent, then the hitbox comes out almost immediately because it will connect, in which case the invincibility wears off almost instantly. But as you can see, if you do the up ball, say with a projectile, it's not hitting anything, so the invincibility stays on for about 50 frames. So it's very crazy in that respect. And you can go through fireballs like I've just shown with Goken, and during this wake up, you do an up ball, he does his invincible move, and you fly through each other because your invincible frames stay on for absolutely ages. So this is a drastic change for no meter, just a light kick up ball. It's way too drastic. So I can change it so that it has about 3 or 5 frames of invincibility on startup, and then it wears out no matter whether it's hit or not. And maybe that might be good for trading. I imagine you might trade with some characters like that, or still get beat out. But the way it is, that looks stupid. So, but that's what was requested, so that's what I put in. So hopefully you thought that was quite interesting. There's a lot of interesting changes there. I felt there's way too much there. Obviously you can pick and choose, which is the whole objective of these videos, but some of them weren't too bad. I don't mind the bug fixes on Ultra 1, that was quite interesting. The coward crouch was quite interesting. I mean, should they be able to go in it indefinitely? I'm not sure. It's not really that big of a deal. Not many people use it that much. But, yeah, okay. Thank you for watching.